if society is keen, can such characters, the killers or the perpetrators, can they be detected early enough? What can someone look out for to know that this is a very volatile person I'm getting into a relationship with?
Well, I think even before we get to the killers, we have to think about the violent person. Because the problem with our society right now is that we're not really talking about that push, that shove, that slap. Those small things that actually gradually, filter into some of the worst and most gruesome cases we hear. In my opinion, and actually with research, some of the things you look at is like controlling. If your partner is controlling, they want to know where you are all the time. Some people I know that in this generation, they say, I'm just checking on you. It's not really that I'm checking on you. I'm checking to see where you are. I was involved with some cases before where you have somebody who has a phone on the whole day, and they want you to keep it on the whole day. They're at work with the earphone, or at work with the earphone. They want to hear who's even talking to you, and if they hear someone talking to you, they say, who's that? Clearly, I mean, that's not love, that's something else. And of course, you also have the people who are also violent with you verbally. Someone who can actually threaten you and tell you something like, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to beat you up. And Janet, one of the ones that I think people don't really think about so much, isolation. If you find yourself in a relationship with someone and you find that you don't spend as much time with your family, with your previous friends before meeting this person, and just the two of you, I think that is a huge
It's a red flag.
Red flag. Okay. Because that person is isolating you and almost like wanting to possess you, and I think possessiveness is the other one closely tied to that. But they want to possess you and create this small little world where they're your God. Okay. And you're really like, you're only their end all be all.
Yeah, I know we need to wind up soon, so I'll also get what should someone then do if you feel like you're in that scenario? Yes. Sometimes pulling out can also render you more vulnerable in terms of so what do you do if you feel like you're in that position?
I think, of course, that's a huge, and we'd probably need another show on how to do that, but the idea, first thing, let us strengthen our social supports. Let's get back to family, the basics. Let's have a good network of friends, not the ones who are always on your side no matter what you're doing, but the ones who actually speak rationally to you. Because the problem is that sometimes you want the friends who say, oh, you guys look so cute together, you look so nice together, but they don't tell you that he's actually not allowed you to speak to me for the last 3 months. That's now the other thing that people need to understand. I don't care how many Dubai trips you do, how much are you connecting with your own family and your friends? So what you can do, speak to your parents, of course, speak to somebody else who's actually older than you, and of course the one that I think people don't like, speaking to law enforcement. The truth is that once you've been shoved and you've been hit, there are statutes in the law that actually do talk about violence and harassment. You can even get restraining orders from people. And the worst part about research, in closing, Janet, is that if you find someone who's violent, don't tell them you're leaving. Just leave. Because if you tell them you're leaving, that's when their anger gets pent up, and that's when they plan to attack you. But if you don't tell them, leave and go to someone who's...
Thank you so much for that.